Welcome to my studio. I am going to continue with my creative photography series. Last time we met, I was working on an 11 by 14 cradled wood panel. I was showing you the back of it. It's birch. I like collage, I like painting, so I wanted to incorporate those elements in my series. So I'm using, this is art tissue paper. I added this since last time. I took some photographs of myself and printed them out on regular printer copy paper. You don't have to have anything special, especially if you're going to be cutting them up or gluing them or painting over them or anything like that. You don't necessarily have to use expensive prints. You can just print it out on regular printer paper if you want. So I am using what I showed you last time, and I have it here behind me. I'm using oil and cold wax. This is cold wax. The cold wax medium is used with oil. It's made of beeswax and a solvent like mineral spirits, so that the wax is soft and that you can mix the oil paint with it. And I'm using the wood panels because if you're doing a collage on stretch canvas, it might warp your canvas. So I don't want that to happen. So I am using the wood panel. Now, this is pretty much dried. I mean, you can still feel it's kind of slick and some pieces are still sticking up. But I'm using a squeegee to squeegee my collage, or squeegee my papers onto my collage. All right, now I'm getting my materials deck set up behind me here. All right, so today what I'd like to do is continue with this. Remember, now some of you don't have to do a self-portrait. I just did that because I just grabbed some photos of some selfies that I took. So what I'm gonna do is, I got this idea last night. I have similar colors here. So I've got a lot of purples in my series. So what I did was, these are old boards, these are old panels. They're not old, but I had done another painting and I took the extra paint that was left on my canvas and just kind of did a background. I didn't know what I was going to do yet, so I'm kind of using those. But I've got some similarities here with the purples, with the blues, the blue violets. And I'm going to take some more of this purple over here, and I'm going to take some more of my images here to here. I may not necessarily have photos right now, or I have another photo that I didn't use last week, but I'm gonna continue this on. Oh, and by the way, if you have a series, if you're doing a series of your 3 photos or however many, they don't have to flow horizontally from left to right. Mine might. I don't know where it's going just yet, so it might look like that now and it might end up being like that. But if you're not sure, it's okay. Just know what your commonalities are when you're doing a series, and just make sure that you have some kind of repetition somewhere, even if it's small, from one piece to the next. But like I said, your series does not have to flow like you read from left to right. It does not have to flow horizontally like that. It could even go this way, or if you finish all 3, you can rearrange them. So you may not know how you want it to end up. But I just wanted to just say that because it doesn't have to be going across like that. So I still have my scraps from last time. I had some more little black and white photos of myself that I wanted to put over here, but I didn't feel like it went. I might even add it over here, I'm not sure. Actually, looking at that, it kind of looks good with this color scheme. So you can develop the series. So you have your commonalities and your common themes and your common colors. So I might have common colors, but the series could also develop as you go. And I've seen some of your work, and I've seen some of you do that. So let's just say you start with level 1. This could be level 2, level 3. So it could develop or build as you go. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to build from left to right horizontally. And remember, I still have some of my scraps from last time. That might be kind of cool if I put the chair where I was sitting. I don't know. So we'll figure that out. Now let's get what I do want. I do know that I want to put this. Let me get my palette knife. I want to put this image, I want to make it into a silhouette. And I want a purple silhouette. And I want to repeat this silhouette here. I do know that. And that's all I know right now. And sometimes maybe that's as far as your plan is, and sometimes it will develop as you go. So I've got my purple tissue paper. I added last time after we finished, I added some green here just to kind of put that in the background, and I added some of this purple here. In this picture I had on a green shirt, and these two are the same picture with the purple. So I'm just gonna kind of hand tear this tissue paper to make my silhouette that kind of looks like my head and shoulders. Okay, so let me do that. And I'm gonna start, what I think I'm gonna do, remember I told you can overlap, like if it hangs off, and I haven't done this yet because I'm not finished working with it, but I may just use the bottom edge of this that's already cut and then fold it underneath. So I'm kind of working sideways here. What I can either do is mimic that, or what I also have is the scraps from when I cut out myself here. So I could kind of just use, see this? Is that the right way? Yeah, I could just use that to help me guide my piece that I'm tearing, because I'm kind of tearing blind from the side here. So I might just do that. I'm just going to kind of tear out, and this is nothing to see, just no biggie. I'm going to tear out a square that's a little bit easier for me to work with, and I'm just going to kind of, figure out like where my head would go. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be kind of like a mirror, or not necessarily a reflection, but more like a mirror. You know, the same thing that I was doing before. So let's get some tearing going. So all I'm doing is just tearing my paper. I'm doing it in my lap so I can kind of get some leverage. So nothing special to see there. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, just so the viewer can get that, oh, that's her head and shoulders, you know? And if you think about it, your silhouette's not gonna, it's not gonna be perfect anyway. So what I'm doing is I'm holding this on the top, and I'm just kind of tearing out what my silhouette would have been. I don't want to cut it. When I make collages, often I don't cut my paper, because I don't like the cut perfect look. Now you can if you want to, but that's just not my thing. I like for it to be a little bit more natural, and I like the challenge of tearing the paper to the shape that I want it. But that's just me though. I don't like hard edges on my collages. And scissors or a knife will definitely give you that. And remember, if it doesn't come out the way you want it when you're tearing it, you can always add to it or take away from it once you put it up there. If your medium is still wet, you can still work with it. All right, so I got half of it. Let's do the other half. And keep your scraps. Like I said, I kept my scraps from last time. And when you work from session to session, it starts to make a mess. You can just kind of put them in a pile, put them in a box. Save your old shoe boxes for art scraps. And I'm just doing the other side of my head, kind of doing it in my lap for leverage. Nothing really to see. You're not missing anything. And you can always add, like I think I just tore too much off, but we'll fix it. You can fold, you can fold your paper like where you need to on the canvas or on the panel. And I got a bad angle here, so let's see. I know I can just hold the paper and tear. Here we go. And let's get my other shoulder, and we're good. And mind you, I have no idea what this looks like or what it's gonna look like. It was just an idea, and I'm testing it. So that's what art is all about sometimes. Like some guys, some people, some of you, you carefully plan out everything. Some of you kind of work intuitively. and just see what happens. Or some of you may start with an idea and you don't know where it's going, but you have a starting point. All of that is fine. This is your art. All right, I have something, I don't know what it looks like, but something that looks like this. Okay, but I'm going to drop it down and fold it under. Okay, I messed up over there, I know, and that's a little bit too pointy right there, and we'll fix that. So I may have to use my tape. Remember, I told you that you could use some tape if you're not sure about the placement, and I might need to get up and look at it, you know, stand away from it. So I want it in the same spot. So first of all, did I even get the stuff right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so no, it's not perfect. I want this shoulder. Why don't we do that? Maybe, yeah, because I want more shoulder on this side. All right, that's my tape I'm going to use. Or I can do that. Well, if I did that, I could do that because that's the way I did it, but this side didn't work out right. So I can just tear the shoulder here. I want it torn right there. I just know my general shape. I kind of know, like, you know, the slope of my shoulder. I want that to be kind of right, but you know, here we have your lines might not be perfect, but your angles and your directions might need to be where you want them. All right, that's better. Now my head is a little bit, I tore off too much right there, and I need to tear off that. Too pointy at the top. And like I said, I have no idea what this looks like. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to turn into. I just kind of had this idea, and I'm running with it. All right, that's a little bit better for the shape. So you can also use your fingernail to make you like a little guideline, just to get a better feel there. All right, let's try that. And I didn't use a pencil, and I didn't want to use a pencil because I don't want any pencil lines showing up. But there's just some tricks of the trade that you can use like that. But I'm glad to spend this time with y'all doing some art, doing something a little different. All right, now I think that's pretty good. That's just a kind of rough. I want to get this shoulder on this side. Actually, it's okay. Well, let's make it slant down a little bit more. Let me take that off, that little piece there. Just a little guideline. And my tearing does not have to be perfect, but the tissue paper is pretty easy to tear. There's some, you know how you like supposed to not work against the grain with wood. Sometimes the tissue paper doesn't tear properly if you're going against the grain. All right, I'm gonna, let's see, that's not too bad. Okay, so I want that here. Now, let me get my tape. One second. All right, and then I'm gonna figure out where I want that. I might have to stand up. I do know that I want it in the same spot, so I'm just going to kind of do this and go woo, somewhere like there. I don't know. So let's see what that looks like. I'm just going to hang that there for a second. I think I want it over some more. I'm going to stand up and look at this. So sometimes you have to step away from your work. All right, let's get my cold wax. You have to get a screwdriver and open the can just like it's a paint lid, but it's not that hard. You just put it under there and twist. Put it under there and twist. Put it under there, twist. Put it under there and twist. Voila. And I'm going to use my palette knife to scoop out some medium. Dropped all my paper scraps. I want to keep that in mind because I forgot about this, and I want to put it in front of my face so I don't forget. All right, so remember, when you're doing collage, if you're doing collage, you want to make sure you put enough behind the paper first. Make sure there's no air bubbles. And then you squeegee. So I'm just gonna scoop some out. I just scoop some out. And I'm using cold wax because this is oil paint. So you have to have a medium that is compatible to the paint that you use, or the whatever medium you use. If it's an oil-based medium, you need to use an oil-based solvent, or medium, or both. I'm kind of going to take that off. And I want to be careful with this tissue paper because it's not as easy to lift up once you put it down. So I can move out of the way. I'm just spreading this. This paint is already dry. This was way dry a long time ago. So I'm just spreading this behind it. Don't skip any spots. If you overlap, that's okay, because if you're doing a collage, you're going to end up, using that space anyway at some point. So it doesn't matter unless it dries fast. But if it does dry fast, that's okay, because most of the medium that you're going to use for collage, whether it's water-based or oil-based, is going to dry clear. So that's fine. I'm going to lift this up and get the bottom here. I'm just going to hold it in my lap on my knee. So I'm just spreading it, that's all. If I overspread, that's okay. I'm going to lift up. Oh, that's where my tape is. So let me get this put down, and then I'll take the other side so I can kind of keep it where I want it. I'm just spreading this in my lap. All right, so I just spread that all like peanut butter. Now I'm going to, all right, cross your fingers. Let's see. I'm going to try to keep it so that it doesn't wrinkle, unless you want it to wrinkle. I don't want it to wrinkle. Watch your air bubbles smooth as you lay it down. I got it on the edge so I can get it hanging off the bottom. I'm going to have to put some more medium over there, I see. And then I can come back over here with my tape and take these pieces off gently. That's that place that didn't work with me well. And then let's see, are you going to hang on for dear life too? Even though it's painter's tape, this is that tissue paper. Gently, guys, gently. And if you get a hole, just overlap it with another little piece. And I got a tear. So just pull from the other end or from the other side. All right, so I got a little hole there, but we'll cover it up with another piece of tissue paper. Just a little teeny piece. All right, I'm getting more cold wax to put on this side behind it first. I'm lifting that up. I'm spreading like peanut butter, trying not to miss any spots. If you overlap, that's okay. All right, that's the fun part. All right, and having more back there is okay, because you're gonna squeegee it out and then put it on the top, so it's okay. Now here you have to be careful, like if you have torn edges, so like when I squeegee, I'm gonna have to go up right there. Now, where don't I have medium? Right here. I didn't go far enough. Hold on one second. Let me just slide that over. And notice this color got darker when I put the medium on there. And then it's going to dry that dark too. So it may look like one color before you put the medium on. And then it may turn out to be something different when it dries. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. I'm just going to like slide some medium there, because I don't want it hanging off because it's going to get in the way. So I pretty much know, I mean, the bottom of the painting, I mean, when you go in somebody's house or go into a museum, how many people look at the bottom edge of a painting? Most of the time it's framed anyway, but even if it's not, that's probably out of sight. So I'm just going to put enough there to fold my piece down here. So I'm just gonna fold, make sure it's straight and smooth. And there we go. And let's get that side. I'm gonna go ahead and do this side. I still have some medium left on my palette knife. The tissue paper sticks better to the medium than that paper did, because I still have pieces that are sticking up. But we can work on that with some paint, which is what I wanted to do today. All right, and I'm gonna fold this like I'm wrapping a present. Get that little corner there. All right, and then the back part, I can just tear that off later. I can just make it stick right now, whatever works for you. All right, now, and that's not sticking. Need some more medium. Okay, so I got me a nice little corner, bottom. I'm not gonna worry about, well, I guess I'll go ahead and do it now because it'll be in the way. All I need is just a little bit of medium there, just enough, because it's just like the little edge. Fold it down. Get that out of the way. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna put more medium on the top of there, just make sure those air bubbles are out. So let's work on that now. Put the medium on the top and spread. I have not folded those sides yet. I just kind of left that off because I didn't know where I was going with that. That's interesting. I don't want it to be scary though. This is not supposed to be scary. All right, now what I'm going to have to do is, for this to spread evenly, I need to put some medium on the top. And once you start, just a little bit to start out with, and once you start squeegeeing out that medium on the side, it's going to give you more. So you don't need a whole lot. I just need enough to start with. And then I'm going to get my squeegee. Just getting the gentle with the tissue paper. And remember my piece that's messed up over there, I'm going to have to squeegee up. So when you squeegee, it's going to push out all that extra. Now I got some wrinkles. That's not my friend. You might have to go in a diagonal. And sometimes you got to make your accidents work. Like if it does something you don't want it to do and it's okay, then let's just live with it. How about that? All right. Okay, so you see what I'm doing. I'm getting all that extra. I'm going to put this in my lap so I can get the bottom. I have my apron on. You want to get this stuff on your clothes. Fun, fun, squeegee, squeegee, fun, fun, squeegee. So I took all that. Now let me get the bottom edge. And since this paint is dry, if your solvent or your medium is clean once you finish doing all this and you got a bunch of extra, you can just put it back in the, I'm going to put it back in the can because it's not mixing with anything. It hasn't tainted the color. It's not going to taint the rest of the can. I might just have to cut all that off because that's just doing too much right there. But right now I'm just getting it out of my way. So yeah, I can come back later with a knife or scissors and cut that off. All right, so now my hole from where my tape was. Oh, boo-hoo. See my hole there? I'm just gonna get another little piece of tissue paper. Just get a little, that's why you have to have scraps. Well, you don't have to have scraps, but scraps are your friend. No biggie. I hope that when I overlap it though, it's not too dark. So I'm just tearing off a little circle here and I've got some extra medium there. Let's put it on there and just glue it down. And I have a bunch of medium clearly left on my squeegee. All right, now get all your air bubbles out. I still have air bubbles. Wrinkles and air bubbles are not your friend. And see, that's where it tore, so I have to go back and I can lift that up with my fingernail and kind of place it where it, oh, that worked out great. Place it where it's supposed to be and move it. An oily medium though, it's kind of like, you know, when you get oil on paper, it kind of gets real like thin and slick, I guess. But your accidents may work for you. You never know. Oh, there's my piece that I tore. I forgot about that. All right, so I'm going to stop there for that. Okay, now let's get a brush. So the brushes that you use for oil need to be different from the brushes that you use for acrylic. And once you start using brushes for oil, you have to keep using them for oil. You can't change it and use them for acrylic later because they still have some of that solvent, some of that oil in the brush, even if you clean them with soap and water. Now, I want a brush that's going to be kind of not flat. I want a round brush that's going to kind of give me a fiery look. Maybe this one. That might be too small. Maybe they're all mixed in here. That's probably a good one. Okay, let's kind of work with these. And this is kind of soft, but if I put enough solvent in there, it'll work. So yeah, if you're not sure, if you haven't planned out everything exactly, you know, you have to make decisions as you go. And even if you have planned out everything exactly, you still are going to have to make decisions as you go, or you might change your plan. Now, my solvent for my oil is going to be odorless mineral spirits. You can't really see it, but I put it in this little jar where you can, it has like a little brush cleaning wire at the bottom where all the sediment soaks down to the bottom. You can't see it, but, and even though it's odorless, you still can smell it. So I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush and put a little bit on the palette here just to use, and I'm going to put the top on this because I don't want to smell that all day right up under my nose. All right, so I'm just going to get a little bit of that permanent rose. I mean, just a little bit. And mix it in there. Where's my solvent? I need a little bit more solvent. All right, I think that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. Now I'm just going to kind of do this fast because I'm running out of time. All right, and I need some more solvent. So I want to kind of just come in here with this. I need some more solvent. I'm just going to show you where I'm going with this. So I just dipped the tip of my brush in there just so it'll spread easier. I want to come around here with this. I don't want it to be perfect because I want it to have that same torn textured look. I don't want it to mix perfectly. So I want some white in there. And I want some darker blue in there. And I mixed it too much when I was putting it on there, so I'm gonna need some more white. I want my white. And that blue has gotten too light now because of that white. So I'm gonna come in there like that, and then I'm just gonna kind of, this is what I was gonna do here. I don't like what I just did. That white streak at the top. I'm gonna tone that down with some blue. Here is where I chose to do another silhouette. I used the same method of collage using the cold wax as the medium for the colored art tissue paper. After covering the surface underneath with the cold wax, I overlaid the tissue paper on top and smoothed out the area so that there were no air bubbles. I placed a thin layer of cold wax on top of the tissue paper so that I could squeegee it smoothly. I did the same for the edges. Here I added a third panel of the self-portrait motif for the creative photography project. This time I printed the photograph onto tissue paper, which was a difficult and delicate process. After deciding where I wanted it on the third panel, I cut out my face and placed it in the place where I wanted it. Then I used the same method of using the cold wax as a collage medium. I added a second face overlapping. My head looked kind of plain, so I added some visual details. This brought me to a stopping point where I felt satisfied with the series so far. Right now, it could still be a work in progress, or it might be finished. I still have a few finishing touches to complete to finish the series. But for now, this is my work in progress, and I thank you for watching. See you next time.